Hello everyone, this is Jotto and welcome to a Spellweaver video. Now for this video I'll be doing a deck tech. Now this is an incredibly budget deck. Insanely budget. It only takes 250 shrines from basic wisdom starter to make, and a lot of those are commons and uncommons which you'll get in packs, and there's only 3 added rares, 3 extra copies of Lamp of Zafir. So as a result, it's very, very cheap. Something else about this deck is it's accidentally budget. The deck itself is complete. A couple things you can edit here or there, but the deck itself is complete. So it's not a budget deck, it's not a worse version of another deck, it is the full deck list. That's why I'm doing a deck tech on it, since I know a lot of you guys have small collections or are just starting up, or are Hearthstone players that are just dabbling in Spellweaver or want to move over. So anyway, what is this deck? This is a Tempo Wisdom deck. My teammate Snellion came up with the idea, and then I sort of built a list. He built a list, but because there's so few cards in base set, then we came up with exactly the same list. It's kind of hilarious. So anyway, first things first. Darius, Prodigy of Wisdom is the hero we're going with. We had either basic Darius or advanced Darius. I think advanced Darius is an interesting one, but I'd rather have the draw power and tempo cards than the tempo hero power and draw power cards. The reason for it is because this deck only goes up to 2 levels anyway, and 3 would be overkill. So we're going with the Thorough Study hero power. First things first, we have Charged Aurite. 1 drop helps charge up our other energy creatures. It's also just a decent 1/1 for 1 mana. What's it charging up? Foundry Engineers is the first and most explosive opening you can get with Charged Aurite. It lets you go Charged Aurite turn 1. If it lives, Foundry Engineers turn 3. Transfer Energy, make 2 golems. Besides that, I'll be making golems every single turn you get an energy, and then every 2 turns you make a golem. So as a result, very, very good if they can't kill it. The other energy outlet is Force Mage Protector, which stops your opponent from trading with your minions, and also is very, very good against rage. You just put the shield on it immediately and then they can't fireball it. Very, very powerful card. Next, on to the other 1 drop, which leads into our tempo plays. We have Sleep, another 1 drop. It's a curse spell, so it's permanent, well, until it runs out of energy. Runs out of 1 energy every single turn, and when it gets to, when it runs out of energy completely, then it sacrifices itself. What does it do? It makes something have 0 speed and stops it from activating anything. This means that it's very good against Guardian of the Faithful, it's very good against support line creatures, and it's just a universally powerful tempo play. The other powerful tempo play is Lightning Elemental. Not only is it a 4 speed, 2 attack, blocker, and attacker, which is very rare. In fact, it's the only 4 speed, 2 attack, blocker, and attacker in the entire game. It also shocks a creature, which stops them from doing anything for a turn and a half. 1 of their attack phases, but the point is you can attack through it twice. So those are the tempo plays of the early game. Then we have another pair of cards. We've got the first 2 drop that we're looking at, Disquisitive Spirit. 1/1 draws a card, and it has 3 speed, very, very good at trading, blocking, and tying up blockers by attacking into them. And this works particularly well with Flash Freeze, which is the main removal spell in this deck. Does 1 damage, but it also freezes, which means if a spirit is in combat, you can Flash Freeze its opponent, and then you spend 3 mana to kill anything, more or less, and you get to draw a card with the spirit, so it is a 1/4/1. The last early 2 drop we have is the Golem. Now the Golem is very, very basic. It's an artifact, which is kind of hilarious, but it means that it sometimes dies to artifact removal. Shouldn't be an issue because we've got plenty of artifacts in this deck, and you can also take a Golem with Mind Extortion, which is hilarious. But anyway, it's just a very, very basic 2 mana, well, it's 1 mana, which is relevant later in the game, but it's a 2 drop, where you play it on turn 2 as a 2/2, and we're playing it because it's the most stable 2 drop you can get, and it has a bit more board presence than the Spirit early game. One problem with it is you can't spark it out, but that's not much of an issue because you can spark out 3 drops. Because they're both 2 resource and 2 mana, you can spark out a 3 drop and then go into another one, same as you can with 1 resource cards. The last 3-drop we have is the Gnome Power Engineer. The artifact and spell removal also has a very powerful secondary effect where it can drain energy onto anything, where if you kill, for instance, a Restless Tombs, you can add 2 energy onto a Foundry Engineer to make a Golem, or make another shield from the Protector. Very, very nice secondary effect, and it's a 2-off in this deck. The last 2 cards are both 4-drops, although Lamp is more of a 6-drop. We have Library Guards. Now, Library Guards is a universally powerful blue card where it's 2 resource, 3 mana, and 2/3, which is a very good body, 3 speed, which means it's very hard to get past, and it draws a card giving you much more consistency and board presence. Then we have the Lamp Zafir. Lamp was recently nerfed, well, I say recently, to 2 blue requirement instead of a blue and a general. And as a result, it's not played as much as it used to be. However, in mono blue, you only have 2 blue resources anyway, and as a result, you get some much needed hard hitting power with the 4/3 with haste, and it has 3 speed, meaning it will get past almost anything and will just blow through defensive plays and will stop them from attacking if you need to. As far as shrines go, 20 basic shrines. I have thought about running Thomic Laboratory for some energy for Foundry Engineers and Protector. Haven't got around to testing it because I was too busy testing for the Asperia Cup. So anyway, that is the deck tech portion of this particular video. Then we're going to play 1 or 2 games, depending on the quality of the games, in friendlies, and then we'll go from there. So, this is actually the second time I've recorded this video. Some of you, maybe 1 or 2 people, may have seen the original deck tech because it was, let's just say, the first 5 minutes were broken. The audio just didn't pick up from Open Broadcaster for some reason. The file was broken and it was a bit annoying because the game in that particular video was very, very good. It was a very close game, and as a result there was only actually 1 game in that video because that game was so good. But anyway, what we'll do is that we'll stay in queue. If it gets to 2 minutes, then we'll just edit this all out. But if it doesn't, then I'll just talk a little bit about the channel and also what's going on with Spellweaver. Now, in terms of Spellweaver, I did mention the Asperia Cup, which was the first major tournament for Spellweaver. Me, Sinelli on Ryjan, the 3 Acebreakers players in Europe for Spellweaver, took part. Sorry, it's quite hot, so a bit of a dry throat. We took part. The 4th player, Kendall, couldn't because he was in America and he overslept because it started at 4:30 his time or something. But anyway, so we did take part and we actually caught all top 4. This is a decent hand. We are against Corruption. This is a starting second. This hand is actually good in my opinion. A couple reasons for this. We have a tempo play for Lightning Elemental, but we also have turn to Protector, Foundry, and we have an answer to Restless Tombs, so we will keep this. Okay. Turn 1 Vermin. Turn 1 Vermin isn't that annoying. It can be, but it's not that annoying. Library Guards is a very, very nice pickup. He does have Zombify, which could be very irritating. What we're going to do is, because we drew the 2nd Foundry, we're actually going to try and stick a Foundry Engineers. So, maybe I should Divine Offering the Lightning Elemental there. Interesting. But, yeah, I'm still learning how to play this deck because I had to prepare for Asperia. This is not the most easily learned deck. It's a very difficult deck to play, in my opinion. Well, at least. So, expect to make quite a few mistakes while playing this particular deck. But that's both a good and a bad thing. It means it's hard to pick up, but it also means that you can learn a deck and do well with it. Now, this deck is roughly a Tier 2 deck in my opinion. Maybe it's between Tier 2 and Tier 1.5. Missed Divine Offering there, which is a bit painful. Yeah, it's between Tier 2 and Tier 1.5, around there. It's very good against Rage, not particularly good against Wisdom Dominion. It's very bad against Wisdom Dominion, in fact. Oh, he may sacrifice both. Yeah, I think he's going to sacrifice both Vermin to kill this. If he doesn't, then I get to drain Restless Tombs onto the Foundry Engineers, and then he's in trouble. Yeah, he's sacrificing both. That's fine. We lose both of our Foundry Engineers, but he invested more cards to kill them. Send back Sleep, because Lightning Elemental is slightly better than Sleep in the situation, because we need stuff to play. Now, I've got a couple options here. I can either go Library Guards or Foundry Engineer. I mean, not Foundry Engineer, Gnome Power Engineer. I'm going to go Library Guards for mana efficiency, because the Library Guards will kill the zombie out of this anyway. Oh, slight nosebleed. We're okay though. If I sound a bit gluggy, I'm actually not. I'm not ill at the moment. It's just, it's hot, so I have a bit of a dry throat. Now, we can use Sleep to shut this down and take out one of the zombies. I think what we're going to do is play Force Mage, and we're going to drain onto Force Mage. Now, in terms of what we do with this, we're going to put a shield on here to protect against Flash Freeze. Then we're going to put a shield on the Library Guards because it can't die to Noxious Fumes. I'm going to pause. Next turn we have Lamp, and he could have a Gnome to kill the Lamp. But the Lamp will at least get one attack in, which would be really nice. We could also play Library Guards and Force Mage Protector or Sleep Seed. It depends what he plays. We can use Sleep to kill that Force Mage because the Sleep will stop it from activating its abilities. But yes, we will have to see. He's taking his time with this turn. He does have a second Force Mage. That makes this a lot harder. Yeah, I don't think you attack here. Now, we'll send back the Golem, I think. The Golem is the least useful, because it's just a 2-2 that doesn't really do much. Alright, double Lamp is nice. What we're going to do is sleep one of these. We're going to double tack into the other one. And we're just going to play Library Guards. Should have played Library Guards first. That was a mistake. Church Storage. It's already worked out, but we should have played Library Guards first. Mistakes were made. Alright, so what we're going to do is attack twice into one of these. Not with a shield, there's no reason. Because this will absorb both damage. And it doesn't matter if he shields it, because we slept the other one, so the double shield is not an issue. So that lets us get past one of the protectors very, very easily, and the other protector is easy pickings for next turn. Maybe we should have killed it. The reason I left this back is because it leaves me a double lock. Now, the funny thing about Harpy is that I only have very, very, very few little creatures in this deck. Now, I think we just set up double Lamp here. Send back Protector for now for a land. I should have done that first. Yeah, some of the stuff is just ordering issues, but most of it is actual misplays. Now, what we're going to do here is we are going to attack like this, so we don't lose anything, and if he blocks with the Harpy, we Flash Freeze. Now, I know that his Harpy could sacrifice his zombies, but I just want to get them off the board. Because maybe that enables him to do some sort of play, and these zombies are not an issue anyway. I'm going to be chunking down his life total in massive amounts starting next turn. The aim for this video is to make it about 30 minutes, so we'll see how long this game is, and then we'll probably play a second one. Yeah, he just concedes. No way of him dealing with the double lamps there. Yeah, we'll just stop for about 10 seconds, so that he has an opportunity to get into another game. I don't mind playing 2 games against the same person, but I want to have a chance of playing against someone else as well. Now, I will be streaming this afternoon, just like, well, evening, afternoon, since I'm a bit delayed today. Just like I always do. I always stream in the evening or afternoon with Spellweaver for about 4 to 5 hours a day. Not 45, 425. So yeah, if you want to tune in for that, then go for it. At the moment, I'm kind of just playing some ranked. I've been sitting at rank 1, between rank 1 to rank 3 for the last 5 days, roughly 5 to 6 days, almost a week now. And I also play some trials if you want to see some of that, and also a couple friendly matches with cool new decks I'm trying out. Now, this hand going second, I would say is good. Going first, I don't like it because it's dependent on Divine Offering. However, I do have a powerful hand. It does have a sleep in it against elves, so we'll keep it. It has sleep, it also has spirit and flash freeze against elves, so we'll keep it for now. We'll see. I need to send back, we'll send back the golem immediately. Alright, so having the second shrine makes this much better. The reason we send back golem is because elves only have 1 2-speed creature, which you can block with golem or attack with, and that sharpshooter, which is a ranged creature. So yeah. And then he plays a, a Grove Guardian. That's kind of amusing. Lightning Elemental is going to be MVP because it is actually faster than most elves apart from Elf Scout. I actually don't play against elves that much with this particular deck. But yeah, we'll have to see how this pans out. If I make any misplays, it's because I'm just not perfect with this deck. I haven't played this deck enough to make sure that I'm not making mistakes with it. What I'm gonna do here is attack the, let's see, I think Sleep Flash Freeze is actually a very powerful play. Because it means that he could ambush strike, and then I can flash freeze, and then he's down on cards. We can also go Foundry Engineers. Golems aren't that useful though, so yeah, I think we may just go for the flash freeze. The problem with playing flash freeze is that it does, however, limit my ability to deal with Haldiri Rider, which could be an issue. Yeah, we'll let this through. It's only 2 damage. The other play we can make is Shock with Lightning Elemental, but that stops me from playing Flash Freeze. We could just Flash Freeze it normally, but I'd rather bait out an Ambush Strike. So yeah, we'll sleep this 2/2, and then we'll attack the Grove Guardian and see what he has. Attacker has final say, so yeah, we'll see if he has an Ambush Strike with this Spark. He may not, but if he does, then this is good. He actually doesn't. Interesting. Okay. So, next turn we're going to play Library Guards. Let's see if he goes for a resource now. He could go Haldiri Rider in 2 turns. That's a valid thing. He could go Haldiri Rider, but then I can shock it with Lightning Elemental, leave out Flash Freeze. So yeah, it's not that bad. Depending on what he plays, we could play Lightning Elemental instead of Library Guards, but it really does depend. Something to note is that Sleep allows you to trade into anything you like because it reduces the speed to 0. It doesn't just stop it from attacking and blocking, it stops it like from evading attacks. Like you can attack with anything because it has 0 speed. Everything in this deck does have 2 or 3 speed. There's 7 creatures with 3 speed, and then there's also the lamps, and then there's the golems, the aurites, and the rest of the 3-drops have 2 speed, and then there's the lightning elementals. Well, I mean, they're also 3-drops, but then there's the lightning elementals, the exception, which is, gives you 3 4-speed creatures, which can actually be very, very powerful. Interesting. That's going to get flash freezed. We'll just flash freeze this end of turn. He's holding up Tornado Outbreak, I think. So we'll just play Library Guards. If he gets Tornado Outbreak, I really don't care. Normally I'd play Lightning Elemental, because if he Tornado Outbreaks, it's fine. But, there's no targets. Alright, so he doesn't Tornado. He could play Haldiri Rider this turn. It's possible he's playing the basic Elf deck. Some people would consider that a waste of a game, but I disagree because in a lot of situations with a deck tech, it would be a waste of a game, but in this situation, this is supposed to be a deck you can build very easily from the starter blue deck. So if I can play a game against another starter deck to kind of show what this is like against something else that's a starter that is actually a bad matchup. The green starter is good against the blue starter generally, because a lot of their stuff is 2-speed. So if I can showcase that, then that would be pretty good. There's the Tornado Outbreak. Yep, this seems to be a starter deck, which, as I said, is fine. We have 2 2-drops we can play here. Lightning Elemental, such a good play though, I think. We'll shock the front one, because I want to trade with the back one. Next turn we can play Lamp and trade, or we can play Library Guards in a 2-drop. Yeah, generally the starter deck is not very good against the green starter deck because of all the 3-speed creatures. For this video, I actually did go and make another account just to kind of test what cards you get from quests. And when I went over there, though, it was just Force Mage Protector, so I guess there's a common you don't have to craft, but you probably wouldn't have to craft one anyway because you just open them regularly. Now, that is an Ancient Treant. That is annoying. However, he's out of mana, he's down to very few cards. Can we block the Ancient Treant? Not really. But we can, however, play a Lamp, kill the 2/2, leave up Lamp to kill the Treant with a Force Mage Protector next turn. So that's what we'll do. We'll try and get some efficiency out of this Lamp. Now, he could have a Unicorn, and then I look like an idiot, but the point is, well, it's still not that bad if he has a Unicorn. But yeah, we can take this out for free, and then next turn we can activate it, put a shield on it, and take out the tree. Okay, so 0 mana, and both of these are lower speed, so he can't block it. We actually have 1 speed, 2 speed, 3. Word of warning though, if you want to try this as a new player, it may require some practice because a lot of the things in this deck are very complicated when it comes to mechanics. I've always said this about the Wisdom starter where there's some complicated stuff because there's the energy mechanic you got to think about and how to activate abilities, and because this deck is a tempo Wisdom deck, it functions similarly. Test of Time. Oh well. Basically same as Unicorn in this case. Because it's not that different from the Wisdom starter deck, it's basically the Wisdom starter deck with all the bad stuff taken out and all the good and more of the good stuff put in. Then it functions similarly. Although I will say again, I don't think that I don't think this is a case of just a starter deck that is. It's cool. I don't think this is a case of just, oh look, it's a starter deck that has been upgraded and it's just a budget deck because this deck does not build into a better deck. It's a deck on its own. Although the lamps and the library guards and such do belong in Wisdom Dominion Control, which is it's a very, very powerful tier 1 deck, arguably the most powerful tier 1 deck right now. In fact, in my definition, I would say it is. Okay, so a bit of a slower game. This time we didn't get quite as much of a dominating double lamp. I mean, we got the double lamp against Corruption Wisdom, and he didn't have the artifact removal, so we just blew him away with it. Okay. Normally you don't want to use Amber Strike like that because it forces shield and such, but if he wants to kill the shield, then he has to do this anyway, and he's going to lock down the 2/3 with the tree, so that I can't do anything with it. Shield. Now, because of the way Ancient Treant works, I actually can't attack it with this either right now. But this Protector should be a 2-for-1. maybe even a 3 for 1. Alright, draw. We're going to go double Force Mage, and then we're going to set up a 3-speed blocker and play the Golem. And then attack like this and see what he does. We don't have a Flash Freeze up. Maybe we should have left mana up for Flash Freeze just to bluff it. But in this case, it's not really something we have to be worried about. And we'll just leave this as is. He could landslide me, but then I can still block with something. But yeah, I think at this stage this game is over. There's too much flood on my side of the board, and I haven't started using my hero power, but the Darius hero power comes into play at this stage of the game because you can keep using it over and over and over again, and it's very, very handy. Okay, so he's going to attack here and lock down the library guards, I think. The problem with locking down library guards is I can still block with the spirit on the 2-1. And I can even shield my spirit if I wanted to. Which I don't think I do. I want to draw a lamp to finish out this game quickly. I apologize if there's any wind on the microphone. There shouldn't be. But just in case there is, and the reason for that would be that I have a fan on next to me. There shouldn't be any breeze on the microphone, but yeah. I'll check the video before I upload it. I usually do. And if it's really bad, then I guess I'll re-record this. But yeah, there shouldn't be any. And yeah, I'll check the video just in case though, obviously. And if you're currently watching this, then I don't even need to say that because it means I have checked it and it was fine. So anyway. So yeah, Ancient Treant locks that down. We're not going to shield the... Yeah. Just shield the Golem here because it absorbs 2 damage and this only takes 1. We're not going to shield this because we actually want to draw Lamp. No Lamp. We'll just play Charge Dora and leave Flash Freeze up. Foundry Engineers was shown to be a bit weak in these last 2 games. It's actually quite a powerful card in some situations. It's not as good as Force Mage in a lot of situations, but in some it's invaluable. The other thing it lets you do is go Charged Aurite and Foundry Engineers openings. We didn't get those in these games, but there are decks in the past that have been very, very gimmicky with that opening, and it's not very reliable, but what's interesting about this deck is it doesn't rely on it at all. Charged Aurite can just be a 1-drop used with Flash Freeze and things like that, so it doesn't rely on that opening at all. Yeah, and at this point the game's over, he's just kind of conceding. So anyway, yeah, the first game was more of an example of just someone trying out a deck, I think, whereas in this case we did actually get to play against one of the starter decks, which is probably someone just starting up with a starter deck that's been edited a little bit. Didn't see any Brother-in-Arms, so it's probably been edited a bit. But the point of this particular game is that it shows that while the Wisdom starter deck is bad against the Nature one, in my opinion at least, just by upgrading some of the stuff to make it into more of a legitimate deck as opposed to just a starter deck, you can actually change that completely just because you can upgrade past where the starter decks actually have their limits. So anyway, I'm just going to round out this video. So yeah, that's pretty much the deck. As I said, in terms of matchups, it's good against Rage, it's decent against a lot of decks. It's only really bad against Wisdom Dominion Control, specifically Dominion Control with Wisdom, not because of Cataclysm, because you can survive through Cataclysm, but the combination of Gnomes and Karthus and Silencer. It's those things that make it a bad matchup. So as a result, since we have a new Academy quest, and I'll click this because some people will get annoyed with me. Yeah. So as a result, the deck is actually, in my opinion, between Tier 2 and Tier 1.5 because it has some good matchups against some high tier decks like Rage, and Rage is the most popular deck on ladder right now. So if you want to try this, you want to try and get good with the deck, then go for it. I think it's quite fun to play, and I think the deck is a lot better than it at first looks, just because it's like, oh look, it's Wisdom Tempo, it's probably not very good. No, I think the deck is actually fairly decent to fairly good. But anyway, thank you for watching. If you like the content, please subscribe. If you have any feedback, put it in the comment section below if you want to ask me any questions. The deck list will be in the description. There'll be an image of, well, this screen. There'll be an image of this with the brackets, what the shrine is, which is just 20 basic shrines. Again, Trithomic Laboratory if you want to. But as for now, this is Jotto, signing off.